Hello, and welcome to Throttle House Talks. I decided that I was going to do this segment at least once a week, starting now because, well, it's the middle of winter in Canada, and if you're a car guy, there's not a lot else to do, other than winter drifting. You can watch my video. So, this segment is hopefully going to be for a couple different things. Number one, I get to talk to you about what's going on in the Throttle House world outside of the videos that you watch, obviously. I can keep you updated on my BMW, which I'll do in a second, don't worry. And we can interview people, so I can have people on the segment here, and I can ask them questions, and we can talk other Throttle House contributors or other people in general. I thought it'd be a fun time to just basically have discussions about cars. Okay, so I'm also going to do some news type of things, right? Things that I care about in the car world, and I think that you probably will too. So that's just a fun chance for basically me to blab on as much as I want, and you have to listen to me. Okay, so my E46, what's going on with that? Well, it is currently almost ready to begin the build, okay? So I know a lot of you have been asking and waiting, and I'm very sorry, but basically what's happening is that, this is very pointless, I'm getting the car completely ready so I can get a safety done so that I can immediately rip everything out of the car and start from scratch. Okay, when I say car, I know I say car, you know that I have two. I bought that extra black coupe that you saw. So I don't want to fully give away what my plans are yet, but it should be a pretty fun winter build where I'm going to do some more engine swapping, nothing too serious. And one car is going to go one direction, and the other car, the rusted one, is going to go a completely different direction. So you're going to have to wait and see about that. Now, if you have any questions for me about the E46, put them in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer them as much as I can without giving anything away. But I purchased an engine crane because it seems like in my life I can't seem to not pull engines out of BMWs on the regular. So I purchased my own. I'll show you a picture of it right there. Ding. And you can hopefully get a chance to see some cool car building happening. I am going to be putting a roll bar in at least one of the cars. Not a full roll cage, but a roll bar. But let's talk about some more car stuff. What do we have here? Okay, so I heard recently that the F80 M3, the current generation M3, was going to halt production apparently in May because of some sort of an emissions issue. So I immediately panicked and went outside in the garage and hugged my BMW and wept. But no, it's not actually true. Apparently, what was it? I wrote it down here so I didn't have to remember it. Now I can't read my own writing. TheDrive.com reached out, and apparently that's not true. So I don't know what the full story is. But the idea is that new emissions regulations were coming in, and it was going to be too difficult to re-engineer portions of the M3 to the drivetrain and the engine to meet the regulations. So they were just going to stop it because they're releasing the new chassis in 2020. But apparently that's not true. Anyway, the point is that emissions regulations are tightening and they're strangling our favorite cars. And there's lots of discussions to be had here, and I'm interested to see what you guys think about this, because I am an environmentally friendly person, or at least I try to be. I'm not against electric cars, and I'm not rah-rah V8s or anything like that. I mean, I do love V8s, but the things that talk about are, for example, the Mazda Skyactiv X. Has anyone heard of this? So this is Mazda's compression ignition gasoline engine. So if you know diesel engines, they work based on compression ignition. So as the piston comes up, it compresses the air-fuel mixture enough that it ignites itself. And diesel fuel has the right energy per unit to be able to do that. But Mazda's found out a way to do that with gasoline, which means the engine can be incredibly efficient. Now, apparently, I've heard that the carbon footprint of one of these Mazda Skyactiv X engines can be very similar to an EV. So, and you go, how is that possible? Well, an EV, even though it is an electric vehicle, the electricity must be generated to charge it somehow. And that is done through fossil fuel type of energy sources. So, that's interesting, and I want to talk more about that. But this is way too boring. Let's get to some fun stuff. Okay, One Track Mind, my track review series, which I hope many of you watched because it's lots of fun to make, and I've got a whole team of people involved, and we're all having a really good time making it. We are going to start that up as soon as the track gets to a state where it's at least have a point to do some sort of a lap time. But my biggest one, the Honda Civic Type R, has over 1 million views, which is crazy. And we are planning some new ones for the season. But I want to ask you now, because some people were all up in arms because I put an M2 against the GT350 in one of the episodes. And I've got more comments on why that was a terrible comparison than I've got on any other topic on my channel, which is funny because if you look at the lap times, they were within a couple tenths of each other. So there was obviously a point to the comparison, just saying. The point is that what I would like you to do is shoot at me some comparisons that you'd like to see. What are the cars that are coming out? What are the cars that are already out that want to go up against the new ones? What do you want to see head to head? The more you do that, the more you throw at us, the more that we can probably put together for you to see, right? We are doing genuine track testing with these cars. I take them out, I drive them as hard as I can or as hard as the owner will let me, and then Colin Casey takes them and sets the fastest lap time that he can for those conditions. Okay, and we are drag racing them, obviously. So I would love to do more of those that you want to see. So tell me, what do you want to see? Go head to head, and I will hopefully make it happen. Okay, other things that are going on in the Throttle House world. I have a website now. It is called thethrottlehouse.com. Please check it out, because it's not only going to be a base where I can kind of drop some of the Throttle House content that I make on YouTube, but I also have some other contributing writers now that are writing some actually really good articles that I myself am interested in reading. Kevin Wong is one of them. Val DiPietro is one of them. You can go under the, where is it here? Under the About Us tab on the Throttle House website, and you can learn all about the guys that are writing those articles. But they're getting even into the more technical side of things, had a very performance driving base. I'm going to have both of them on here at some point. You're coming on, Val, whether you want to or not. And we're going to talk about some performance driving stuff, because Throttle House, the core of it, for me anyway, is the performance driving side. I like to drive cars, and I like to drive them fast. So everything that I do somehow should, or I hope, connects to performance driving in somehow. So taking your car, prepping yourself and it for the track, and pushing your limits. That's the cool stuff. That's what I'm interested in, right? That's why most of the cars that I like to test, except for my regular road reviews, should be mostly performance cars. I did do a track test of a Honda CHR once, though. Yeah, it was terrible on the track. There's a reason that you haven't seen that video. Okay, so yes, thethrottlehouse.com. Please check that out. I'll put a link to that in the description. Kevin Wong just wrote a great article on why you should keep your car stock for the first little while. Him and I completely disagree on this, because I'm all like, mod your car immediately, and we argue about this incessantly, and I'm sure that this will be a good argument for you to see on this segment at some point. But if you have any other questions for me or for anyone at Throttle House, or if you just want to say that you like my hair, this is the left, often not seen left side of my head. Review right-hand drive cars, so you always see this side. You see? It's rare. It's exciting for you to be able to see this. I understand that. So, if there's anything else that you'd like to tell me, please put it in the comments. If you want to see more of this segment, you don't have a choice. I'm doing it anyway. But yeah, tell me what you'd like me to talk about on this segment. That would be cool too. I'm just rambling at this point. Thank you for watching Throttle House Talks.